watching Beverly Hills 90210, especially being a Brenda freak, loving Brenda. I'm a Brenda. And the way she was around relationships on that particular show, I think I was sort of emulating that. And then
through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory.
Hello, and welcome to Journaling Through the Years, episode 64. I'm Leah Liz, and this is a series on this channel where I read from my old journals. I've been writing in a journal since I was old enough to hold a pencil or a pen, and I've been reading through them for the last couple years. We're in this one, and I just want to say really quickly, last week I said that this was after I was broken up with by the Wesley looking Princess Bride boyfriend. He looked like Wesley from Princess Bride. Broken up with, and then my so-called best friend got together with him. But this was actually before I figured that out because of what is going to happen. Now, before he ever broke up with me, he stopped really talking with me for like a month. So he wouldn't like come around, and then he would come around and call, and he was like living with his ex-girlfriend or some weirdness. Then he would come around and call, and then he like ended up breaking. It was weird. They would break up with me, and then I'd try to go over there and hang out with him, even though he was with her. It was a mess. Not a good guy. But before we go on with the journal, I told you last week about the fundraiser for the bonfire, and I'm wearing my very own. So this is what my shirt looks like. I have a shirt now. I'm going to be getting a t-shirt at some point, or some more, like a sweatshirt. Like there's different colors. There's a pullover, a hoodie, a pullover, a hoodie, a couple types of t-shirts, and they all come in like a variety of different colors. And 50% of that goes to the Trevor Project, and the rest helps with recoup expenses for our film I Am Fine. And yes, we still have the GoFundMe for my good friend David Nino, and so check that out. I'll have all the links for that below. So yes, this is before a Princess Bride boyfriend has broken up with me. And it's this particular prose is dedicated to him, and it was written on May 10th, 5/10. Princess Bride boyfriend, I put his name, said, "You have me, my dear. You have captured me. Under your magic spell, I look deep into your eyes. Could never leave you, could never hurt you. I have fallen for you. My one true lover, the one I always dreamt about finding. Who would have thought when we met on that cold day of January that I'd love you by May? My love for you is now, my love for you is forever. Here I am, take my hand, kiss my lips. Thank God for you, you lovely creature." This is a guy that hadn't really talked to me in a month, and then I think at the time was living with his ex-girlfriend for a while and being like, "We're just friends, but whatever." And yeah, I'm so emo and dramatic, and I think that this was my second voyage into dating and being with someone romantically, and I was sort of developing my relationship addiction tactics, and there was a sense of drama around it. Also watching Beverly Hills 90210, especially being a Brenda freak, loving Brenda. I'm a Brenda. And the way she was around relationships on that particular show, I think I was sort of emulating that. And then being raised in like the Hollywood kind of Disney movies about, finding your true love, and it's instant. I'm very hyped up on that. And then also looking outside of myself for someone to fill me and rescue me. And this was all the beginning of it. I wish I could go back to this girl and tell her she's enough. I am enough. For those of you who are maybe younger, or even just still like struggling in their own self-worth, you don't need to look outside for anything. You are enough. Here's a quote by this guy named Al Einstein. I don't know why I said Al Einstein. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Yep, I wrote that down. Okay, I wrote Jade Pagoda, designer Chang Win T. I don't know what that was all about. RWT, that's the initials. We are always getting ready to live, but never living. Okay. I'm like leaving all these spaces. Then we have, a fool may talk, but a wise man speaks. And that's Ben Jonson, who is a contemporary of William Shakespeare. And then here's a quote written on 5/17/95, May 17th, Wednesday after school. I'll watch you pee while I'll lunch, then I'll be coming, and I won't forget to bring the salt and limes this time, baby. I'll get drunk off your warm urine. Hot mama. Okay, and it was written by me. It was come up with by me and this guy, who I'm just going to call him DD, double D. When he was a year ahead of me in school, and when he was about to graduate, he wanted to go and be in the military, but he was still underage, so he had to get permission from his parents. And his stepmom wouldn't give permission, probably because she was like, no, you don't want to do that. So we got upset. And this was right at the end of the year, so this was the next year for me. So it was my junior year, and he was a senior. And he got a gun and went up to her house and shot her. But he didn't shoot her. He shot another friend of mine that had been dating for a while. My friend. So it's all small town. And so then, of course, this guy ended up in jail, double D. He got out, I believe, in like 10 years. So I remember visiting or being down there when I moved back in my late 20s, early 30s, and talking to someone. And they're like, oh yeah, he's out. Maybe because he was underage, and I don't know. I didn't always understand the particulars, but he was a friend of mine. This is a couple years before that, and I don't even know if that was something on his mind. You know, he considered himself sort of a hippie, and I don't know where he's at or what's going on. I heard he was out of jail. I haven't really looked into it. Maybe I shall. But it was kind of the drama at the time, and I believe it would be a year after this end of the year that he would do that. He was also a cousin of my sister's friend. Or some kind of relative. I just thought it was funny that there's a quote that we wrote and this history came out, and at the time he was just a guy, and that he had been that who he shot and killed had been at one point the boyfriend of another friend of mine. So let's finish up, I think, with this little emo poem of some sort. Colors everywhere, mixing together as one, around, through the vast space of unawareness. The vast space of unawareness. Okay. What does that even mean? I stare at the endless design, following with uncertainty, hoping to understand myself, reaching for discovery inside my deepest thoughts, suddenly knowing, feeling complete. Colors stop. I feel lost, empty, and confused. I do not understand this emptiness. Where has my friend of many colors gone? Why has it left me with these empty, lonely hearts to fill? How can I fill these hearts when my own heart is empty? This is really telling to me, because this vast space of unawareness, I stare at the endless design, following with uncertainty, So, there's this, a few years from now, maybe more like 10 years from this moment that I was writing it, I would voyage into my fundamentalist Christian days. We'll get there. But throughout my life, I've always been a seeker. I've always tried to kind of see what was beyond, or make understanding, or make meaning. Never raised any particular religion. In high school, I was more interested in like the Wiccan arts, the black magic, and I'm more into that now. My cat, hold on a second, I gotta go check my cat. This is Leo. He's 23 and he's amazing. And he has this thing where he likes to go into his room and just howl. So it always sounds like he's in need, but he just wants to howl and have attention. Huh? Is that right? Say goodbye to the people, Leo. All right, I am back. Sorry for the confusion. We were talking about this poem. So yes, I think that I've always been a seeker. I've always been curious. I've always looked, it goes along with my wanting to fill that emptiness. Maybe that I didn't know where to find it. I felt empty within. I felt like I was wanting something from outside for that security. And I think that one of my ways I did that later on in about 10 years was to fall into organized religion, fundamentalist Christianity. And yeah, I think this shows that sense of a seeker mind. I don't have anything wrong with religion or seeking or anything like that. It's when it becomes very high controlling, and someone loses their identity. But the idea of seeking and trying to make meaning of this world, this life that we've been given, why? I feel I'm agnostic in the sense that there are so many religions and beliefs and spiritualities throughout history, even alive today, that I think that there is something. If it's just ingrained in us to want to make meaning of something and to find a way to make meaning, then I think there is something. But I think that shows that. So I think that I was having this dichotomy of wanting to have meaning, also looking outside myself for security. And I really like how it says, how can I feel these hearts when my own heart is empty? Because I think I knew innately, and maybe I knew somehow within my heart, that I needed to take care of myself first. I think innately I knew that. I think my issue is that I would do self-care so that eventually, so that I could give out. And don't do self-care to give out. Do self-care because it's good for you. And it seems almost kind of psychedelic. Colors everywhere mixing together, and then it ends with, I do not understand the emptiness. Where has my friend of many colors gone? Sounds almost like psychedelic, and I think that was probably an impetus. I've never done psychedelics. Well, yes. Mild dosages of mushrooms, but nothing else, and nothing major. So no real big trip, as it were. But at this time I hadn't. But I was exposed to people that were exploring that, as high school students are. Some of them do. And then of course probably seeing movies. Maybe the movie The Doors was out with Val Kilmer playing Jim Morrison. And so I think that I was kind of playing around with this idea of the colors and my friend. But through it, I think what was really interesting is that I found as I was just free writing this sort of like prose, I sort of touched into something within myself. And I think that's interesting. And I think what I'm discovering as I'm getting older throughout these journals and experiencing more heartbreak and issues with the relationship, my mind is maturing a little, and my writing style is getting a little bit more in depth. And I think also, as I've kind of peeked at other future entries. I think that when I am more depressed or in a situation that isn't necessarily that healthy, my writing style becomes a lot more juvenile. And then when I'm in more of a healthier spot and a healthier mindset, it has more of that adult sense. I think that's really interesting as far as my own mental health. I will leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you have a good week. I will talk to you next week. Remember to check out the links below if you want to support the Trevor Project fundraiser or the GoFundMe for my friend. Bye.